I wanted to make a robot that can shoot pies into my face. Now, I know what you're thinking. I obviously have to be clowning around. There's no way anyone in the world can be this serious about pieing people in the face. But that's where you would be wrong, and also really boring. Now, before we can ask ourselves how we're going to pie people in the face, we must first understand why we're going to pie people in the face. And yeah, no, because why not? It doesn't have to be that deep. We can actually go about getting most of our ideas from this shitty board game Pie Face. Or more so, what not to do. It has this shitty purple little lever arm, and that doesn't really strike fear into my soul. Also, there's just way too much control that lies on the user's hands, and I just don't fuck with that. It kind of ruins the purpose of getting pied in the face. You're not supposed to see it coming, and therefore you're not supposed to have control over it coming. So we're gonna find a way of negating that. Now, how exactly are we going to manage to do that? Well, pretty easily, actually. We just need to find some way of automating the process of getting pied in the face. And we can do that by making a robot that has the ability to detect where you are in a room using facial recognition and tracking, and then can shoot you in the face with a pie. Like this one that I made. That's been half in frame this entire time. Now, I'm sure right off the bat you guys probably have a lot of questions. Like, Steven, where do you get your materials? Your design is sleek as fuck, and I want to know where I can buy materials that are that high quality. Home Depot. Just a little bit of a better view at the design in all of its glory, and I'd kind of just like to go over some of my more unorthodox design choices. So yeah, I do get the A-Cam pack of Rosita's refried beans. We like to strive for both quality and quantity on this channel, so. Some more quick things to note is it is just driven by 2 stepper motors, one for tilt and one for pan. It's housed nicely in the electronics box. You can't really see it all that great, but trust it's in there. There's also an Arduino, driver board, and power strip, just to make everything function. Also using a DSLR camera up top just to capture footage so that it knows where to go when it's trying to pie you in the face. If you're wondering what this tumor of masking tape on the front is, it's actually just a bunch of conveniently placed pennies to help balancing issues, because on the back there's a solenoid valve which is open to control the airflow of a shit ton of fucking air to allow us to shoot pies into people's faces. So, yep, that's pretty cool. And don't worry guys, I hear you loud and clear. I don't know why my lighting is so dog shit, and yes, I am aware that right now it is kind of a glorified air turret, so that's where we need to design a special projectile to fit our pieing in the face needs. So I just bought these pie tins and glued it to some random shit I could find in my room. I'm not Mark Rober, don't expect anything of quality. With all of that out of the way, we can get ready and shoot some pies into my face. But wait, that's actually wrong, because the first iteration would only pathetically lob a load onto my floor, giving me an ant problem. So I had to make a few minor adjustments. The main issue I had to fix was I had to replace this power supply for the solenoid valve, because apparently 5 volts isn't enough to power a 12 volt solenoid, so who knew? I also went ahead and took the liberty of replacing the hose that fed into the solenoid, because the last one would always leak, but I could never really figure out why. It was always just a mystery to me. I also went ahead and took the opportunity to circumcise the pie tin to make it a little bit more lightweight while gaining the ability to slice one of my major arteries. So, yeah. Quality stuff. Only the best. Yeah, no, long story short, it was essentially basically almost right the first time, which makes me a super genius. Everything should be set up. I should have what the camera is seeing in one of these corners here. The pie is loaded. The air tank is pressurized to like around 100 PSI, and I think we're ready. See, it's doing a pretty subpar job at tracking my face. It loses me sometimes, but that's not the real innovation here. The real innovation comes in if I stand here like a moron for a few seconds. Oh, I get blasted in the face with a pie. Jesus Christ, it's fucking everywhere. I went ahead and filled this one up a little bit more and adjusted the correction angle on the program. Just to hopefully get a little bit more direct contact with my face. So here's pie number 2. We're gonna stand here for a bit. I may have to change it because it's a little. Could be better. All right, I'm thinking this one will be the last trial, primarily because I have better things to do than shoot pies into my face in my room. So I went ahead and topped it off, a little bit more pressure in the air tank. I think it's at 125, somewhere around that range. Let's see how this one goes. Great, now all that's left to do is to continue iterating on the design. Maybe we could increase the tank pressure, or allow it to automatically adjust the angle depending on how far away you are, or maybe even not building it with rusty scrap metal. But all that really matters is that this technology is available for future generations so that we can finally attain world peace. Or, don't have to see that anymore.